going to set the little countdown clock. Not that we pay attention to it, but
we really do not pay attention to that clock.
It's there, just in case.
Yeah.
So, Todd, you let us know. I know we're live on the Facebooks.
And we're now recording.
Really cool.
Wait, what? You turned us on? We're recording?
We're recording.
We're recording. Oh, my gosh. Hey, everybody.
Well, we should, we should start that way with every episode.
I don't know why not. It seems like a great place to start. Hey, everybody, we are Our Town Podcast, coming to you from, and live tonight, from the historic Renton Civic Theater in beautiful, beautiful downtown Renton.
I mean, they are storming the stage as we speak.
Back up, everybody.
If you could see what we see, it would be terror.
And tonight, this is our big musical extravaganza for the extraordinaire. And we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Ray Smalley from the band The Heyfields.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Right on. Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down. And he's going to entertain us, maybe, if we talk nice to him with a couple of originals of his, right?
He's excellent.
Yeah. I'm going to play a couple. So I got a song from a band I was in called Elizabeth Betta.
Oh, sure.
Nice.
It was with the Ames Brothers.
Yeah.
And the band I'm still in called the Heyfields.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
And gentlemen, this is a family show, so don't be throwing panties and bras up on the stage.
What the fuck?
There's a lot of sexy up here.
Oh, gotcha.
Let's maintain decorum.
Maintain the decorum, everybody. Hey, everybody, how's your week? It's been a while since I've seen you.
It feels like it's been like a week.
It's been like a week.
Yeah, I think it has. No, it's been good. It's been a good week.
Would you call it Hump Day?
Oh, it's definitely Hump Day. Do I have that sound still? I don't think I do.
I was kind of banging on it, but okay.
Hump Day.
Yeah, I got to be in the new convention place downtown
for Emerald City Comic Con.
Load in my buddy Delta Comics for Emerald City.
Okay.
Yeah, brand new building. I think more than $1 billion for that convention center.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
there's going to be a lot of cosplayers
and trapped
downtown.
people in the elevator for probably a total of 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Brand new building. Did I mention the $1 billion building?
The $1 billion
building.
I'll take half that in cash.
Yeah, and professionals running the elevator. Right, you don't get to press the elevator button yourself. They've got a professional elevator operator.
Really?
Right. No, getting paid, and one in the elevator, and one on each floor outside of the elevator.
What?
Yeah,
this is fancy.
I think this is
something, or overstaffed, or whatever. And I'm not against human beings having good jobs.
Maybe it's just to help those who are in cosplay and that
Well, these were just the load-in, so this was just the loading stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the big industrial, really expensive and hard to repair elevators. Yeah. Oops.
Right. Hard to repair.
Come on, Otis.
But other than that, it was great. Honestly, it was cool.
Did you get stuck in the elevator?
I did not. So
I once got stuck in the elevator, and that was because some of my coworkers thought it'd be funny to all jump at the same time.
Oh man, you tilted it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
It was when I was working for a internet provider called Earthlink back in the early 2000s, and we were down on the first floor for a departmental meeting for tech support, and then on the way back, everyone decided, hey, if we get the elevator stuck, we won't have to go to work right away. I was like, okay,
sit here and smell each other for a few hours. It's a great plan.
Initially, it sounded like a cool idea because then we weren't going right back on the phones. But then I realized that it wasn't necessarily a good idea because then I was stuck in this small box with like 10 people. So I was not happy about that.
All right. Well, I once had love in an elevator, like Steven Tyler says.
Oh, man.
Was it with Steven Tyler? Family show?
First floor lingerie. Mr. Tyler.
Let's just say I was alone.
That's a different dimension of that whole thing, actually.
Whole nother story. Well, hey, as I mentioned, this is our big musical extravaganza. Our first of hopefully many musical ones, because what brings humans together more than music? Maybe security in numbers.
Sure. Because there's a storm outside kind of thing, right?
But music seems to be
art is important.
Time.
And music's just so immediately emotionally impacting.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you have to travel to see the Mona Lisa, right? But But Ray came to us. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray.
It's awesome. No, it is.
He's not even contractually obligated to be here.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So I am Charles, and to my left, I've got the mayor himself, Mike, and over on the big board,
David.
also to my left, is Cousin Todd.
Hello.
And farther to my left is Ray, who we mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah,
So
no, man, this kid can play. So
yeah. Ray, do you feel like kicking us off with a song?
Yeah. So, I usually play really loud rock songs.
Okay.
So it's gonna, but I'm gonna pull them off in the acoustic. You know,
Nice.
Oh, right.
It's gonna be loud. It's gonna feel like.
Immediate.
All right. The song's called Teddy Bear, and it's in my band, the Heyfields.
All right.
A while back. I can save you, here I come. In the phone booth, then I'm off. I can catch you when you fall. Sucker times 10, I'm the one. I save you to fix myself. 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 Calling Mary. Calling Mary. Calling Mary. Calling Mary. Yeah! I can tell you things you know. We can be best friends and more. You can call me anytime. Day or night, just call my line. I save you to fix myself. 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 Calling Mary. Calling Mary. Calling Mary. Calling Mary. I save you to fix myself. 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 I save you to fix myself.
Yeah, excellent.
Nice.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. Yeah.
No, I can totally see that as a big hardcore electric, lot
good
of
stuff.
drums and stuff. But
Yeah,
I love
stuff.
it as an acoustic
Oh, yeah.
too.
I was feeling some Nirvana unplugged right there.
Yeah. All right.
You know?
Big influence.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So is that a composition that you wrote yourself?
Yeah.
Just
yes.
you, or?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I wrote this, and then it's funny because I write things usually with a drum machine. Actually, I have
Oh, really?
a Alesis drum machine, so I'll make some riffs and like make a riff and a chorus, and then I'll bring it to like whoever plays drums or the band gets together, and then it just definitely evolves from there. So it's like I do the first part of the writing, and then it always kind of evolves into something different. It becomes this, cohesive band thing.
Do you do the first part of the writing on the guitar?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then you
usually,
come up
like-
with a few riffs and then...
Yeah, it's usually just me sitting around after work, or on a Saturday or Sunday in my pajamas, just
Yeah.
like hang out, kick a beat on the drum machine, start feeling the groove, get some coffee in me, and just,
Nice.
just
Get that
see what I
caffeine
can come up
surge in.
with and kind of lose myself in music, which is
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by that musical. I mean, because Mike writes songs too. As we got two songwriters up here, it's just fascinating to me that the creativity there. I can write, creative write, but not music. I'm just not anything in my head musically, Unfortunately.
Yeah.
The closest
and I don't know if it's just because we all experience our existences differently, but I think some of us just see patterns in different places, in different ways, right? So,
Yeah.
and some of that's tone, some of that's texture, some of that's, pacing or whatever it might be.
I think the closest I've come to writing anything is I wanted to be a song parody writer, so I would take songs and then I would try to figure out how to make it funnier. And I in like the early 2000s, I wrote like 3 or 4 different songs that were song parodies. I was trying. Weird Al is a huge influence on my sense of humor, let alone I love his music.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't ask me what I wrote because I don't remember what it was.
Do you guys find it easier to write songs by yourself or in a collaboration?
I feel like when I was younger, like in my 20s, I think I've been writing songs since like when I was like my early 20s, like full songs. But nowadays, I feel like I really like writing with my band. Like we'll just be a band practice. You just bust out a riff, and they're like, "Oh, what was that? Keep doing that." I feel like the best song,
like a jam session that ends up becoming a recording session.
Yeah, we're always like, "Let's just write something," Nice. And sometimes nothing comes out of it, or we'll just now you have iPhones, we use the recording device and be like, let's just record that riff, and then keep that and use it someday. So I really like writing with other people now, and I don't really write by myself anymore, which is interesting. Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Is that kind of the same?
No, geez, the last, 12 years probably, I've just been kind of improv, right? So, and so that is very much, moment to moment and or who you're with in the room. Yeah. So, and just kind of allowing that experience to turn into something. So.
Do you find yourselves finding riffs or pieces of songs that you might have wrote like 20 years ago that just kind of come back to you and reformulate it?
I'm
into
kind of a one-trick
new?
pony myself, so I have the same patterns all the time.
Okay.
Right? But I happen to like them, so I don't get mad at myself about it. But
I feel like I'll make something up and be like, that sounds awfully like something I wrote before. So sometimes I think I came up with something, but I'm like, wait a minute after like 15
but
minutes.
if we were chefs, that would be great.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's a signature palette. Right? So I think,
Well, and I think that helps, like, with your band having a specific sound. Every band has their sound, and it just depends on if you're the first band to have that sound or the ones that like were inspired by the first band. Like Metallica, they're not the originators of that sound. The speed metal thing wasn't really just Metallica. They're just the most popular one.
I thought they were like one of the 4 horsemen of the
the original 4, which was Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. And there's actually a 5-hour concert video called the 4. And it's all of them on stage. And at one point, they all get up on stage towards the end, and they all do like I think it was the 4 Horsemen is the song they played, Metallica song.
Right on.
Yeah, that's fitting.
Right on.
I wonder if there's like some no-name band that actually originated it. And just
probably.
Well,
never got
they just never got credit.
No.
The song 4 Horsemen is actually co-written by Dave Mustaine, and he did a version of that song, the music side of it, called the Mechanics. It's the same riff, that's just faster.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Yeah, the guy that originated is working at the elevators.
Yeah. Oh man, sad man. And it just, I use the same metaphor for like fighters or UFC or boxers. Like for every famous super tough guy, there's some poor schmuck who's just chopping wood in the woods somewhere in Chile.
So what you're saying is Duff McKagan's working at the convention center?
No, I was kidding.
No, that kid's doing just fine.
He's back in GNR.
Yeah. And it's just the 3 of them too, right? It's just,
of the original members, I think the other guys are like, fuck you, we're not going back. So
is what it is. Bands are like relationships. Have you ever had to like divorce members of bands that you've been in, or has it just been kind of a natural kind of stop playing together?
I've had bands just split up. I think the most dramatic one was a guy when I was back in Boston. we had this band called Flank, and I think it was like our second gig or something like that. But we didn't know the guitarist was like wanted.
Oh,
so,
shit!
Like we were out front smoking cigarettes,
Wanted by the masses.
and we were in like, nothing too bad. And it was like,
Jesus.
and you owe some child support, whatever. But we were smoking cigarettes out front, and we're in a bad part of town anyway. And we're like, those are detectives for sure. We could see their car and like,
Sure.
oh, they're walking over here. What's going on with that? And he showed us a picture. He goes, "Is this you?" He goes, "Oh no, that's not me." And like, "Yeah, it's you." And so they arrested him. And we're like, "Well, now we don't have a lead guitarist." And we still played the gig.
Oh, nice.
Sound the same.
Show must go on.
Yeah, that was probably the most dramatic. And we kind of broke up after that. But yeah, I've definitely quit bands. I've had people quit on me. Even like the bandman now, Heyfields, had a different drummer and bassist when we first started, and then I found some new people.
It really is like a relationship, right?
Yeah.
People.
Totally. I've been with these guys like 10 years almost. Went
wow.
really quick. Yeah, we were like, oh my God, and that's a record. That's really good. That's good chemistry. And I feel
Sure.
Because you said you moved here, 2012-ish?
2012.
So you pretty much just hooked up with these guys and started playing?
Yeah.
Right on.
They're actually
Nice.
married. Mark and Melinda Zuga, they're actually married. So it kind of works out,
Okay.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's easy to like set things up, they live together. Yeah, it's really fun. Really
I know
fun.
where you're going to be. You can make
They're awesome bandmates.
And it's
Great
a
people.
testament to patience and that kind of thing, right? So, which can be helpful in a band setting also. So.
Yeah, because we have our times where like, we won't play for a few months and then we'll come back and then we'll play a bunch of gigs and then we're okay. It kind of fits our lifestyle. It's good. We're just grown-ups with jobs and trying to make it bigger.
Yep.
And you said you have a performance coming up in May?
Yeah, May 6th at the Valley in Tacoma, which is a really fun place.
Nice.
Yeah, the sound guy is a really cool guy, and he's in a band called They Walk Among Us. You know what I mean? So
Nice.
He's always hooking us up with stuff, and then trying to, because it's in Tacoma, so he's like, I'd like to come out to Seattle, and we're like, cool.
All right.
Nice. Is there any other? Do you guys have a website or anything? Is it just
we
Facebook
mainly just have
or?
videos on YouTube, like the song I just played.
Okay.
We actually have a video for that on YouTube that we did. We do videos pretty much with iPhones, which is really great, and then dump it into Mac and use iMovie, and then just kind of edit our own videos.
Right on.
Jeez, that's wonderful. Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so we have.
So it's just
have
the Heyfields on YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay.
Heyfields. And we have a Facebook too.
All right. Any Bandcamp stuff or like LPs? Or?
I don't think we're on Bandcamp. I think we're on Amazon Music.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. You'll notice I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
He is. Right on. Okay, well, you mentioned a little bit ago that Nirvana was a big influence of yours. Is that one of the reasons brought you maybe Seattle way, or?
No, I was excited for that. It's really been cool to like play in some of the venues, all the venues that they played.
Sure.
In Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. And
So have you played over at El Corazon?
I have played El Corazon.
That was the off ramp from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's,
Pearl Jam's
I
big
think
kickoff
that's-
was there and everything.
I think that's where that was in in Singles, wasn't it? Off the off ramp, or was that?
I know Rock Candy was,
Or was
that
it-
single.
Yeah,
Oh, that was
Okay,
Rock
yeah.
Candy. Never
Oh, I
mind.
heard about
Tripped
that.
off ramp. It might have been.
Yeah, it's cool
And
to be in a
Off-Ramp
band
was
with
great.
someone that like kind of grew up in the '90s in that era. My drummer, so he has all kinds of cool stories.
I actually
very
ran-
envious, actually.
I actually ran into Duff McKagan at the Rock Candy at a concert, and it's just wandering the hallways like, "Oh my God, you're Duff McKagan!" He's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Can I have an autograph?" He's like, "Sure." He's like, "Yeah, pen." I was like, "No."
It just wasn't destined.
Your bandmates they're local, so they've been in other bands. You mentioned '90s. He was doing some stuff. Will we know any of the bands that maybe they were in?
So they met because they were in a band called Homewrecker.
Okay.
Yeah, and
That sounds familiar.
it was all girls, and then my drummer Mark. So
Oh,
he went on tour.
lucky
and stuff,
guy.
too. Yeah, I know. And so yeah, they had their heyday in Homewrecker. And I forget the other band. They put together a few other bands as you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right on. Well, what other influences do you guys draw from when you create? I mean, because Todd and I, we listen to tons of stuff, but we're not sitting down taking it and writing music.
Not in a long time.
Yeah, what do you guys?
I don't know. For me, it just kind of comes out of the ether.
Yeah.
It's pretty mysterious, really. I'm not sure if I'm a receiver for not to put too weird of a point on it, but you know what I mean. I'm not sure where it comes from.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. I mean, it's definitely influenced by what I listen to. Like, if you listen to my band, if you go to our show, you're like, oh man, you guys sound very 90s. Like, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And from the 90s, I've listened to lots of 90s rocks, and you can tell. And I've actually kind of, I don't know, you know, sometimes you're just like, maybe we should sound different, you know, and you experiment with different things, and you just kind of, sometimes you're just like, hey, actually, this is just my sound.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy it.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
It just sounds right.
I grew up listening to, like, you know, Nirvana, like you said, Soundgarden, STP, Pearl Jam, Guns N' Roses. That was like my first heavy metal tape that I wanted to be a musician.
Countdown to
big show.
Countdown to Destruction. I think Appetite. Excuse me, I'm confusing Megadeth and Guns N' Roses. Appetite for Destruction, Countdown to Extinction, two different albums. But Appetite was my first CD ever.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Yeah.
That was like
I listened to that all the time.
Yeah, 7 Year Bitch was my first CD.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What was yours?
First CD was probably Creedence Green River when CDs first started coming out. The first album I ever bought was In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin on cassette because I liked the crappy songs on that as a kid because I was probably 7 or 8, right? And I liked All of Your Love and Carousel Lombra and that kind of stuff. Yeah. You know, it just had that groovy kind of disco-y rock feel. So, but that was the first one I bought.
First real album, not including like the Chipmunks and shit like that when I was a toddler, when I was a kid, but was Destroyer.
Oh, little Kiss, huh?
It was because I remember vaguely. I mean, this is not a vague memory. This is pretty vivid. I remember going through my brother's albums, his LPs, and just picking out albums that had the coolest cover art, and Kiss had all the really great cover art.
You can't beat it.
And you know what? if Led Zeppelin had better cover art, I would have discovered them a lot sooner.
Led Zeppelin has good cover art.
But
it's kind of
not for a 5-year-old. They don't.
The little naked kids on Houses of the Holy. That's a little.
Yeah, no, I remember looking at them. Why is this album art just like an apartment complex? You know, what's up with that? Yeah. But then, then you get to like the cover of like Kiss, and it looks like a comic book cover. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And that's
like they're invading aliens almost. No, they're
well, I mean, the Spaceman and fucking Cat and demon and but what was Paul's cover? Or was it the I don't know. I don't remember. It's
Paul was Star Child.
All right, yeah, Star Trek and Spaceman was Ace.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, they went for it.
I mean, they were legitimately living comic book characters.
Yeah. And they made a lot of money off of it. Well, a couple
still
of them
making a lot of money.
They had Oprah money.
I mean, they have Bezos money, I think. But
it definitely.
Yeah. I was never a big Kiss fan. I was introduced to them. I went on a soccer exchange, football for you Europeans, when I was like 10 to Canada.
Wait,
we teamed up. A Seattle team teamed up with I think they were from Tawasin in BC, and the kids would come stay with the families here in Seattle, and then the next weekend we'd go up into Canada, and that was my first introduction. Yeah,
I did that too.
So that was my first introduction to Kiss. Was the Canadian kids had Kiss out? I'm like, what the hell is this?
The only thing I remember from going up to Canada to play soccer was they had gravel fields, and it scared the ever-living piss out of me.
Gravel field. In Seattle, we played on a couple gravel.
I refused to play on this gravel field because I knew I was going to fall, and I was like, I'm not falling on fucking rocks. No, not doing it. Just flat out refused.
Kiss is something different. Is anybody a big Kiss fan?
Other than Bill,
Bill.
No,
Bill is, but
no. When I was 8 years old, I fucking loved that band.
Oh sure,
yeah.
But
there's diehards,
as a teenager, I discovered that like I'm sorry, Bill, but they're mediocre at best.
Well, it's the full package, though. You know what I mean? 'Cause you get flames.
You get the spitting blood and the flames, and and you know the Roman candle at the end of the guitar, you know, neck and whatever else that Ace had going on, smoking from the pickups and shit.
I always felt like they didn't live up to like their image.
Sure. Because
I was expecting something more evil.
Sure. They're just regular dudes. Yeah.
Like, imagine if like Slayer dressed like that. Like Slayer just dresses like jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And
don't terrify millions.
Yeah, I
and then they do a song like Beth, right?
Same thing with like Grateful Dead. Their cover art. I'm like, this guy's gonna be badass skeletons.
Yeah, just a bunch of old burned out hippies on stage.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually wishing I would have saw them live back in the 70s or 80s when they were in their legitimately in their heyday. It would have been way more entertaining for me than it was back in 2018 when I saw them.
Yeah, we talked about this before. We both went to that show.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I heard the 4 songs that I wanted to hear, and then I left.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was too.
I haven't been to a big pyrotechnic style show in a long time.
It was less pyrotechnics and more like digital screens that had cool like. Just, you know.
Yeah, I remember I saw Judas Priest when I think I was like 13. Tacoma Dome. Madness.
Yeah.
But
they had lots of kaboomies and shit.
Before we started recording, I mentioned that I got to see Lemmy and the guys at Motorhead at Bumbershoot back in I think the late 90s, and it was at the stadium next to the Space Needle. I don't remember what the name of the stadium is, but Memorial. Okay, but yeah, I remember I went in there because Motorhead was huge, and my friends were like, you got to go see Motorhead. I knew one song of theirs at that time.
Yeah, they deliver though, man.
Ace of Spades, but all I really remember from that show was how fucking loud it was. you know how far back the sound booth is at that stadium? It's like at like 3/4 of the way back.
Yeah.
I had to stand behind that for my ears to not bleed.
Wow.
It was so loud.
Yeah.
And I liked the songs and stuff, but it was so loud. I mean, as soon as I walked forward of the sound booth, I was like, and I'm holding my ears, and I'm like, it's not helping. And I went back.
All right, well, greatest concert memories. Ray, kick us off. Do you have a great concert memory?
Concert memories. I liked a lot of the Oz fests.
Dude.
My first show, I'm pretty sure it was White Zombie, the Astro show.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Astro tour. I really liked that. I was a little frightened though, because I was like a skinny 16-year-old.
Sure.
Of course, we like smoked a bunch of weed, and we were just kind of watching everyone. And then these dudes are like coming out of the pit, like bleeding. And we're like, "Whoa, we're not going down there." And it was like my first experience. Like that really happens.
I went into plenty of mosh pits, and I think the only time I was like scared of going into the mosh pit was during Slayer. I was like, because like at the beginning of their set, they had a video of just a fan carving the word Slayer into their arm and screaming Slayer.
That's hardcore,
top of their
man. Yeah, Slayer.
And then keep in mind, this was at the Gorge here in Washington State, and I'm up on the hill looking down.
Country boys. They
I was looking down at the pit area, and the pit just exploded with people. And I was like, I love mosh pits, but no. That was the craziest mosh pit I ever saw.
I think I really like when artists are like really personal. Like I don't know if you guys have heard of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I'm a pretty good fan of theirs. They're not like huge, but kind of underground. But saw them in New York in like 2008 or 2007. The show's over. We're at the Fillmore, and everyone's piling out. And I'm like, wait, that's the dude. That's Robert. And he has his guitar and acoustic on his back. He's just walking out with everyone. And this dude hung out in the parking lot and playing songs for everyone and signing autographs.
Oh, badass.
4 in the morning. Just this huge crowd of people. Him and the drummer, and it was really cool. He was just such a cool guy.
Nice.
And I was like, I'll never forget that. I'm like, what an awesome guy. And he didn't get bothered. I thought, I'm like, this is going to turn into something. But everyone was like super cool. He was playing some acoustic songs for everyone. And I really admire that in artists when they're like really down to earth and just like do kind of those kinds of things with their fans.
Yeah,
So,
and actually enjoying that, right?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to do that. Yeah.
No, I don't think the other guy did. He was probably in the bus, sleeping, but the lead guy did.
I was just trying to remember the other bands that were at Ozfest '99 at the Gorge, and I ran into I think he was the bass player from Fear Factory. Dino, I think is his name. But either way, he was just wandering through the festival. I was like, dude, I walked up. I was like, dude, I saw you just whenever you guys were playing. I said, you're fucking awesome. I'm gonna go buy your music when I get home. He's like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I was like, it was the first time I'd ever seen it. That was the first festival that I ever went to, and I never expected to see a band member from one of the bands on the main stage just wandering through the festival.
Sure, yeah. Well, I know Todd's favorite concert memory. He talked about it last week. It's I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere.
White Yoakum or
time don't matter to me.
What happened?
I was working crowd control for Dwight Yoakam at the Snoqualmie Casino. I requested to be in the back by the door so I can make sure people weren't coming in the back area.
Loves his country music.
We're going to put you up front. It's like, no, can I not be up front? Yeah. I mean, I'm going to hear everything in the back enough as it is. Can I not be right next to the speakers?
Very far.
And I really don't like country music. So it's just,
what is your true favorite concert experience?
For me?
For you.
Favorite concert experience? Honestly, I think it was that Ozfest, that '99 Ozfest was. It was. You ever
missed
see
a hell of a show? Apparently,
you ever go to a concert and you just kind of get that euphoric, kind of like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever fucking seen.
Sure, and I think being in a crowd like that can help bring that about. It's part of that humanity, because it's dangerous inherently, right? Because 20,000 people are bonkers.
It was right in the middle of Rob. This is back when Rob Zombie first went solo, and he was his band, and they were playing. I started playing Thunder Kiss, and I was in the mosh pit. Like, this is the most, and I just kind of like, you get the tingles all through your body, And it was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. I'm never gonna forget this. This is so awesome.
Yeah.
And I actually was introduced to like 6 or 7 different bands at that festival that I'd never heard before.
Yeah, that is one good thing about those festivals is you do the side stages and stuff. You just find
Fear Factory, Slipknot, Static X. Static X became one of my favorite bands for a long time. And we didn't stick around for the entirety of Sabbath's reunion. What? But we heard like 3 songs and was like, we gotta go because otherwise we're gonna be here all fucking night. No. It's like, dude, it's fucking Ozzy. No, I don't want to leave. But
oh my god.
Yeah.
Ozzy was at the Renton Kmart.
Was he really?
Oh yeah, no, he did a meet and greet signing at the Renton Kmart, which is now McClendon's.
Yeah,
no, it was insane. Probably 85.
That'd be amazing.
He was sitting in the parking lot and looked kind of half warmed over. He was pretty rough because it was a rough time for.
It was 80s,
yeah, it was rough. But
was there a blue light special?
Was that before or after Randy?
That was after Randy. Randy's 81, 82.
Yeah, okay.
That was...
So probably the Jake E. Lee years would be my guess. And every rocker kid from 3 counties was there. It was fantastic.
That's amazing. That kind of thing doesn't happen anymore.
I think the only kind of meet and greet that I ever did here in Renton was probably 1980, and it was at the Sears that's no longer here.
That's where Fred Meyer is, right?
Right next to Freddy's, but it's now an apartment complex. But Darth Vader. Stood in line to meet Darth Vader, and that was. I have a photograph of me shaking his hand, and I'm like,
Was he like a really huge guy? Like
I don't know if it was their actual dude, but it was
Prowse,
it was
right?
not. I don't think it was David Prowse, but I was like, I know your real name. And he squeezed my hand.
Well, you might have been.
You better shut your mouth.
Was that the actor or was he in character? You know what I mean? That's a tough call. I don't know.
That's like my earliest
you can't trust a dude in a mask.
Come on, doesn't matter who he is. Mike, what about you? What's your?
Jeez. I don't know. I got to. One time, Joan Jett was playing with Evil Stig. Was after Mia Zapata from the Gits got murdered.
Yeah.
Made that guy rot. she did some cool like fundraising stuff for Home Alive and all this kind of stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah. Awesome. With Joan doing vocals. So she did that at Rock Candy. And so I was, there, of course. And I was skating outside in the shitty Rock Candy parking lot. It was just a terrible pavement for skating. 1 star, would not recommend. But I landed my first pressure flip right in front of Joan's bus.
Oh,
it was great. So that was a good skating moment for me, and I was just riding for you, Joan.
I got that album. There's a Home Alive.
Yeah, that's a good record.
I love that record.
Yeah.
A lot of bands contributed.
I saw them the same year. I saw Motorhead at Bumbershoot, and that was probably my favorite concert. Because there was this random dude bro with a backwards baseball cap trying to start a mosh pit during Joan Jett, and he jumped up on stage and was trying to crowd surf, and as soon as he jumped, the whole I'm not making this up, everybody just split. And he hit this man. Oh, man. And Joan stopped and says, "Are you about done? Can I finish your show now?"
Joan.
It was so funny.
Mine would probably be my first big concert experience. Went to Aerosmith at the Coliseum in Seattle. This was right after Joe Perry came back to the band. So it was after the album Done with Mirrors when they had the other guy come in. Great Boston band, right?
Yeah.
But just going to that show and just being friggin' wowed with my older brother and his buddy, and I'm this young little punk kid who got to go to the show. But just remember them doing When the Lightning Strikes and people launching like M80s up into the air.
Bringing M80s to concerts was a thing.
Holy crap, this is badass.
Oh my! I've never ever heard of anybody ever doing that.
That's Tacoma Dome for sure. And then some dude snuck in during that AC/DC show, snuck in like a mortar device.
Oh, serious?
Like a military-grade mortar, blew a hole in the Tacoma Dome. Yeah.
Really?
It's
I vaguely remember that.
You can't bring cigarettes on you can't go anywhere.
This is why they frisk you when you come into.
They brought their own pyrotechnics to save the band money.
That's an extra step. Oh my God!
Wow, and I thought
ruin things for everyone.
And I thought
now I got to take my shoes off to get onto a fucking plane, dick.
My brother once told me about going to see Cheech and Chong live and how somebody had taken, I guess in the early days of Cheech and Chong, they actually, in the liner notes of their album, or the sleeve that held the LP, was actually rolling paper. So someone actually rolled a joint the size of an LP. Yeah. And they were passing it around the Kingdom at that show.
Yeah, Tommy still lives that life, man. Cheech has kind of gone beyond that, but Tommy Chong still lives that weed life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother was growing for an operation that did CBD oil for dogs. Oh. And Tommy Chong was like the money that was getting this company off the ground and kind of thing. I don't know if I should talk about this because no, it's legal here, right? Legal. Yeah, whatever. Screw you guys. Anyway, man, cool concert experience and stuff.
Oh yeah, because it's humans coming together to experience art, right? Right. And it's music's kind of, I guess, movies, right? People join together in movies, and we're in a playhouse, for God's sake. So it's not unheard of in human civilizations to do so, but music is just so, I don't know. I think that's why it's so popular with humans, is because it is so impacting emotionally. Right.
The very first concert I ever went to, I went to see the band Stryper. At the Paramount.
When I saw
at Paramount, and that was where they filmed the music video for their song "Free." That was, and I have pretty strong memories of going to that show and seeing the guys with the cameras walking through like the audience and stuff.
Do they still do the black and yellow?
Yeah,
they are.
Do they? Are they all the same original band members?
No, I have no idea. I could name.
I think so. And they're actually coming. I just saw an advertisement for it recently. They're coming back to Seattle here in this summer, I think. I thought about going because I think it's going to be at El Corazon. Like I saw them at the Paramount in '87. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, they come in the Alcors. Oh, I saw it.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
What else? Static X and Fear Factory actually just played last night.
Oh.
Did they really? Holy shit!
This kid I know was like telling me all about it. And
So,
geez,
I was going to say, if you were there, how's the new singer? Because I know that they got, I don't remember who the guy's name is, but he sounds like Wayne Static when you hear him singing. So it's awesome.
yeah. I liked their first album a lot.
I did too.
Yeah, I didn't really get into much after that.
Wisconsin Death Trip. Yeah.
Wisconsin Death Trip was a really good album with Bled for Days and that stuff.
I'm with Stupid was one of my favorite songs. Yeah.
It's interesting music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a go-to genre? I mean, Mike, you're probably punk rock genre is kind of your go-to.
Yeah, it depends. I was thinking about that on the way down because I knew we had a top 5.
Yes.
And I don't know. For me, it is the emotionality of it. I don't want to keep hammering this, but you know what I mean? So whatever kind of makes me feel, it doesn't have to be good necessarily, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever's going to get that out of me is what I tend to go for.
Yeah.
And that's not always, I guess punk's not anger necessarily, but you know what I mean. It's just
but
very
aggressive,
it's
maybe.
pushing, right? Yeah.
I love the DIY aesthetic of punk rock, right? It doesn't really translate to sort of the pop punk stuff, right? Because I don't know. I mean, they kind of have a punky root, but
I guess. But there's, I don't know, Rusty Willoughby's poppy punk. But
Green Day and stuff like that.
Green Day and Blink-182 and all that.
Yeah, no, that's something different.
I mean, as far as genres go, I mean, I've been starting to listen to more of the stuff I listened to, like the 90s and late 80s. Which is like thrash metal, and like in the early 2000s I got introduced to death metal. So I really got into like In Flames, they're from Sweden, I think, and they were just fucking heavy on the guitars, and there was a little bit of the growly vocals, which initially I didn't like because it was just like, why, it doesn't really sound like it's really a talent. They're screaming into a microphone, kind of a guttural thing. Yeah. But then I discovered that there's a skill set to that. It may not be the same as like listening to Rob Halford or somebody else who can sing clean, but there's tricks to it to sing like that without completely destroying your vocal cords. Yeah, and so there is a talent to it, I guess. Yeah. But and I like all kinds of stuff. It's easier to tell you which kinds of music I don't like than it is the stuff I do. For a long time, I was really into like funk. I was everything from like Bootsy Collins and Parliament and George Clinton. And I discovered something really funny about George Clinton is that he had 2 bands on 2 different labels, and it was the same group of guys on both. And I was like, and they all wore masks and stuff, so the label folks didn't know they were the same.
And Funkadelic
were the same people. They just wore different masks when they were on stage for the different venues.
Well, that happens a lot because people are under contract and stuff.
Yeah, And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Is like he's getting money from 2 different labels with the same group of guys. I thought that was fucking amazing. Yeah. And then like the 2010s, I got turned on to nerdcore, which is like geek hip hop. It's like hip hop guys who are rapping about not getting laid and playing video games and stuff like that. It was great. I mean, MC Frontalot is someone you guys should check out if you haven't heard of nerdcore. Or MC Chris is another guy. He's the one that did the song Fet's Vet. Which was huge back in the early 2000s, but
nice.
And so and then more recently, I've been very nostalgic for the 80s, so I've been listening to a lot of 80s rock and pop music and just the new wave stuff.
Right on.
Everything. Like I back in the day, I didn't like what is that band? Everything Counts. They sing that everything counts in large amounts.
Good Shop Boys.
No, it's people are watching this are like, it's someone's up. It's Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode.
So back in those days, I didn't care for that shit, and as I've gotten closer to 50, I was like, that's actually kind of that's not bad music.
watching MTV Classics the other night, and "Don't You Want Me, Baby" by Human League came on.
That's a great song.
And I fucking knew all the words. I was sitting there singing. The wife's looking at me like, "What in the hell?
You forget about me."
No, that's Simple Minds.
Oh, never mind.
I
know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
kind of.
Tears for Fears is another group that I really liked back in the 80s.
Huge.
And they got back together recently too. They released a new album. So yeah, I said, I could tell you more bands I don't like.
Started.
But
what about you, Ray? What's your kind of go-to genre these days?
You know what? It's so funny because I'm a machinist, like I was telling you, and so I listen to headphones all day. So I definitely opted in to get the commercials taken out of YouTube. I would highly suggest that. I was against it for a while. They're like, fine, we'll give you 3 months free. See if you like it. Now I'm like, I can never go back.
it's only $10 a month, right?
It's like 14, but it'll probably keep going.
It's cheaper on Spotify, man.
It definitely is. So anyway, that's just kind of, but it's just amazing to me that I can just think of a song that I used to know or some album and find it now. So it's almost like a game of like nostalgia.
Well, trying to
like, oh yeah,
stump.
I forgot about that band, and lo and behold, it'll be on YouTube, and I can go back and I can kind of like live those times. I'm just kind of in that mode right now where I'm like, just the tones and the guitars, the rhythms and everything is just like brings me back to like whatever summer that came out, what I was doing.
I feel like, we talked about this long ago in an earlier episode that the olfactory is the thing that triggers the memory the most, right? But I feel like sound and noise and your hearing is the second most thing that sort of triggers like a place in time, where you heard that first thing.
It's gotta be. And the memory of the lyrics, like you said. Like we watched my girlfriend never saw Straight Outta Compton, so we watched it.
Oh, such a good movie.
I'm like, you have to see it. And so she's like, dude, you know like all the lyrics to all this stuff. I'm like, I know. I can't believe it. I'm like, I don't know my social security number, but I know all the words to Dope Man. 100%.
Nice.
So yeah, it's very nostalgic, and it's kind of cool to like. There's a little bit of like a pride in it, I wear like. Just a badge of honor, but like I grew up in those times. I remember when that album came out. I had that cassette. I don't know. I really do. I am really grateful that I grew up in the days of cassettes and landlines and stuff.
Yeah. Did you have a go-to today? What was your listening to today?
What was I listening to today? I was listening to some Alice in Chains today.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, and I like some newer stuff that came out. Like I was telling you, like Cage the Elephant. Like some of that stuff is I can get down with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, anybody knows me knows I'm a classic rock guy. First and foremost. But I do, like Todd was saying, I can jump into punk rock and go back to 80s. I could listen to Madonna's greatest hits and then flip in, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, or pop in some Ramones and then jump into some Doors. I'm sort of all over the place. But classic rock is probably the go-to for me. So, yeah, right on.
So I think at the beginning of the pandemic, I was spending a lot of time on Spotify, and I was trying to find music that I needed something to kind of help me through the day, because it was, I already had enough issues with anxiety and depression, and then just not being able to see anyone really fucked with me. So I started looking for songs I could remember, and then I ran across a playlist on Spotify just called Shermer, Illinois.
Oh, nice.
And it was legitimately like all of the songs from every single John Hughes movie.
The fictional town of Shermer, Illinois. Yeah.
That's cool.
All the John Hughes movies took place in that town, and it doesn't really exist, but it's supposed to be a suburb of Chicago.
Lighthearted Castle Rock.
I think that's actually where the McAllisters live too.
Oh, was it really?
Oh.
It's supposed to be that.
Kevin McAllister, Home Alone.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's
so it is a high crime town. I'm here.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I listened to that playlist so much that, like, every year at the end of the year that Spotify gives you your year in review, what you listen to,
and that was it, huh?
And like that playlist got the most play on the Spotify for me.
We just watched, because I wanted my daughter's getting into sewing. She wants to start, making outfits and stuff like that. So we watched Pretty in Pink, which would have been on that that list. And then right after that, we kind of kept the ball rolling. We watched The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
So those two were great, but great. I think Pretty in Pink is probably the best soundtrack.
All of them actually are. I mean, like, there's like 4 songs on each of those movies that really just.
I mean, but Pretty in Pink, you got Psychedelic Furs, you got Echo and the Bunnymen, you got OMB, you got or OMD, you got
orchestral maneuvers in the dark. Craziness. Yeah, geez,
just a great album.
And do you know if John Hughes was doing his music? Was he in charge of that, or did he have a Danny Elfman or something?
That's a good question.
I really don't know.
I want to think it's him.
I did read.
Sure, because he does seem to be it's kind of his joint, right?
Yeah. I did read a fascinating sort of trivia on the Pretty in Pink, the song, Pretty in Pink by Psychedelic Furs. The lead singer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but said that John Hughes, or the person that picked that song for the movie, yes, it's literally a good translation for Pretty in Pink, but the song is not about wearing a dress. The Pretty in Pink is the skin. It's like she's naked, and it's not about putting on clothes and stuff. So it doesn't really fit, but
it just happened.
Pretty in Pink,
I'm sure they got the royalties. They were like, forget it. Now it's about that.
We'll take it.
So I just shared to the Facebook page that playlist I was talking about. So if you guys want to check it out, you can.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks.
Nice. Would you guys rather, now my songwriter friends up here, would you rather have like a song that sells like medium well, or would you rather have it just be in a good movie for all time's sake? So would you rather have a song that sells like 100,000 units and you make pretty good money off of it and you get a little notoriety, or would you rather have it be in a cool movie, maybe not sell so much?
Is this my retirement plan? Or is this, because I want to be plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Fucking write me a jingle and sell the fuck out. But I just can't. It just doesn't happen. I would if I could, I swear.
I hear you, Mike. Whatever I would choose, I would regret. But I would want to, the ego in me would be like, I want to be like in a soundtrack that will live forever, where like, someone's parents are like, you have to see this movie.
Right.
And then I'm in the soundtrack, like the...
like 40 years later.
Yeah, like the Breakfast Club.
Right.
Or have that song that has its second wind in a soundtrack because...
like the Stranger Days or Stranger Things.
I was specifically thinking of Bohemian Rhapsody in Wayne's World.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's true.
Because I mean,
twice
it hit the charts in its original release in the United States and England, and then in like 1989, I think it was, or 90,
early 90s, I think was when Wayne's World came out,
and then and it hit again because of that movie.
Yeah, because of the Freddie Mercury.
I will confess, I'd never heard the song before I saw Wayne's World. It got me into Queen.
I
recognize it's so bonkers.
Yeah, I think I was like 12.
I recognized the song, but I didn't know who Queen was at that point until I was like you said, while I watched Wayne's World. I was like, this band is fucking awesome. Yeah, right. Then you find out they're the guys who did the soundtrack for The Highlander 2. So it's like, okay, these guys are amazing.
I never was a big Queen guy. I had friends that were big time.
When I was a kid, like we went to my dad's old school friend, John Shook, who was an electrician, lived on Broadway. And he owned Broadway Electric, and back then Broadway was still seedy but less populated.
Yeah. I used to spend a lot of time on Broadway.
But he had a cool record collection because he was kind of an old hippie type guy. And Queen was one of the first albums I had ever listened to as a kid, and it made a huge impact on me just because I think whoever produced the vocals on that is just incredible. It's amazing because they're all just, kind of compressed together, but it's just a wall of vocals. It's amazing.
Did you guys see the biopic at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A great biopic. Have you seen it? The Bohemian Rhapsody biopic?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but like the producer that said, there's no way anyone's going to be banging their head to Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. That was Mike Myers. And I think I was the only person in the theater that laughed out loud at that because of the significance of that line. because of Wayne's World. It's like that's
See what you did there.
That's so fucking meta. I love it. Oh man, I was like, I was laughing for a good 5 minutes. I had to stifle myself because I didn't want to be that guy who's interrupting everybody else's experience. But yeah, so funny.
What was everybody's first band that they really got into? Let's start with Bray. What was the first band that you heard and just had to gobble up all their cassettes?
I mean, I was a younger kid in the 80s, so it probably was like Poison.
Okay.
Or like, actually, Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me, when that came out.
Nice.
I was like, can I have this tape? And my mother was like, I don't want, maybe. Let me like investigate it first. You know, and she's like, yeah, this seems okay.
Was there a Tipper Gore parental advisory on there?
Yeah, I don't think it had one. So that's why she's like, okay, you can have this. I remember being like 7 and like they just played it over and over on the radio. I'm like, I need this.
I think that came out in 87 or 88, right?
Yeah. So
I remember they had that album too. Music for minors and stuff, right? It's like because they had that stupid warning, the Tipper Gore warning label.
Yeah, and it just stuff got pulled from stores.
That was a thing.
Although, I mean, does every kid need a body count CD?
Well,
but does every kid have the right to have a body count CD? I guess is the question.
Yeah. Right? I mean,
I remember that came out. That was pro. What about you?
For me, it was probably Zeppelin. I think.
Okay,
yeah,
that's a good one.
Kept going back. I mean, In Through the Outdoor was my first album, and then discovered probably Led Zeppelin 2 first, and then gravitated towards 1. 3 was my favorite for a long time because of the awesome acoustics and stuff like that, acoustic guitars. And
cool cover too.
Cool cover. I had the spinny vinyl.
Oh, did you have that?
I had that. I got ruined. Ex-wife spilled something all over it.
I think I saw one in Half Price Books not too long ago.
Did you really?
It was like $30, but
yeah.
That's doable.
Are you a vinyl guy?
No, I have a record player, but I don't have a lot of records.
Okay.
Because I'm just like not really going to invest that much in it. I mean, get YouTube, so it's so hot. I got a few cool records I hang up.
Yeah, I'm a digital guy myself.
Though I'm a tactile. I like to read the liner notes and look at all the pictures.
All that stuff is online these days, and the thing that I
can't hold it, man.
The thing I don't like the most about having tactile music is it can get stolen. So I have my music always because it's on my phone or on my online storage or whatever. You know, I always have access to it. It's never going to get stolen
until
from
the EMP comes, I guess. You know, and the office will be sitting around.
I still don't kind of trust that when they're like, "Do you want to own the movie? Buy a movie." On like Prime, I'm like, buy it. Well, I don't actually have it though.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't trust that someday it's just going to disappear.
They'll just say, the fine print said you get to hold that for 364 days.
Will I have it forever? Like a DVD?
Oh yeah. The other thing is like if the movie gets pulled from their catalog, you know, for whatever reason, do you still own it?
Yeah.
You know?
How do you get it?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
what about you, Mike? What was your first?
I was an AC/DC kid, so
right on. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, no, I was a beast for him.
Nice.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. No, I remember the day Bon Scott died. Bonkers.
I actually remember when I really discovered AC/DC. It was I think it was like summer of '85, and I think it was isn't that the year that For Those About to Rock came out? Like 84, 85?
No, a little earlier than that.
Was it? Okay, maybe it was earlier than that. I just remember getting that album. This is fucking great. I want more of this, you know. And then I
they were putting out like an album a year.
Then I just shortly after that I found Back in Black, and that became like my go-to album for fucking ever.
Yeah, I still listen to Power Rage probably twice a week.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really good record.
Right on.
And I was watching an interview with Mike Judge on YouTube, and I discovered that the Beavis and Butthead theme song is inspired by one of AC/DC's songs called "Gone Shooting."
Yeah, that's a great song.
The opening riff is essentially the same thing.
I can see that. Yeah. I always was like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Is that your go-to then too, or your first
I was obsessed with
passion.
AC/DC.
Okay.
AC/DC was like the band. That was the first band that I had to learn everything I could about the band. I learned all the different members of the band. What happened to Bon and why they got Brian and all this other stuff. And
what a great transition too. I mean, you love Bon Scott, right? But finding Brian Johnson to take his place.
Oh yeah, you have a giant album.
Apparently, Bon was a huge fan of Brian's original band.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, I like this dude, and so the young brother's like, maybe we should reach out to that guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I always loved them, but I always mistook a lot of their lyrics though too.
No, sure.
But I didn't care. I thought Dirty Deeds. So I had an older brother with the jean jacket. He listened to all the heavy metal. Yes, he had
the Hesher older brother Hesher.
Yes,
yeah.
The Judas Priest posters in my mother. You're gonna terrify your brother. I'm like, no, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like him, so I listened to his records, and I remember listening to Dirty Deeds.
That's kind of how I was with my brother and his.
But I thought they said Dirty Deeds, Thunder Chief. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's the most common misunderstood lyric with AC/DC.
Shook me all night long. I thought he said she'll be all night long. I was like, oh.
Well, she will be. If you check her all that.
I mean, there's actually a website called kissthisguy.com, and it's all misunderstood lyrics.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's taken off of the Jimi Hendrix song, and it's, excuse me while I kiss the sky, and everyone thought it was Kiss This Guy, and Thunder Chief is number one on the misheard lyrics for AC/DC.
I don't feel so alone now.
You're not the only one that thought that.
It was for years.
You have to join that self-help group. But,
I was like the Renton superstar though, Jimi Hendrix. I got to go to his grave.
He's buried here.
Yeah, I got to go to his grave not too long ago. It was actually really cool.
Yeah. A lot better than it used to be.
It was
be
very simple.
Small, little plaque in the ground, right? No kind of monument or anything
really?
like that.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch the movie Singles, all about the grunge era.
Yeah,
right?
I love that.
There's a scene where Matt Dillon, his character, is sort of next to the old gravestone.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And at one point, I had gone up there and did like a pencil etching on paper of it, but I don't know where that is anymore.
I heard stories that
trick or treat at his dad's house.
Yeah,
Cool.
I heard stories that the gravestone had to be removed because of all the vandalism that was happening to it.
I don't know. I know Jim Morrison's in Paris. People were chipping away at it. They would take a little piece of it, and his face was just all. If you see pictures of it,
I mean that's.
But
a
I think
dick
it's.
move.
I think
that's a little. That's a little like cursy. I'd be afraid of a curse.
I went to Egypt and took home some,
You can't
the ancient.
Yeah, you can't mess around with things like that.
Yeah, you got Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee's up by my old house in Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
People leave stuff. They leave pennies and they leave oranges and stuff.
When
like
I was
that
with
on the
Jimi
grave,
Hendrix,
but-
it was guitar picks,
a lot of weed, and lots of roach clips. Last time I was up there,
right. Not sure.
but
and a lot of lipstick, a lot of kisses.
Yeah, lots of kisses on the
That was
guitar.
me.
But
I was just leaving. If you got that.
what I was getting at was
The kid was fine though. Don't
my
deny it.
brothers
The kid was fine.
grew
He
up in
was-
Renton. They're like 20 years older than me, and so they used to run around with like Jimmy's cousins and whatnot, and they said that because of all the vandalism of his marker, they had to like remove the marker. So and at some point they even moved him from one part of the grave area, the grave site up there to a different part, and then for a long time there was no marker, and then Jimmy's childhood home was across the street up on blocks for almost a decade.
And then to a museum,
and then they moved it over to Rainier someplace. And
I don't know if the funding ever came through for that. I think I would have been there if it had.
Well, it was across the street in that like trailer park on blocks for nearly a decade. It feel like, but I thought they moved it to its final location. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But and then when they built the new monument or whatever you want to call that, stone pagoda, whatever it is, they put all that in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, Ray, do you want to wake us up a little bit? And
you want to play my other song for you?
A little song
Yeah,
for
would you
us?
please?
Yeah, sure, man. I'll play another song. This one's called Space Blind.
Nice.
It also sounds very different acoustic, which is actually really fun to play. All right.
I knew all the things you're after, all material and plastic. Never fill the void that's empty. Pay the price 'cause nothing's for free. You can find me space blind with my accelerator to the floor. We can find our escape in the planetary great unknown. We can find that power inside that we never thought we had, as it takes us so far away again. We can take you further outside. We could save you from the big lie. Just a bolt inside the machine. Keep you down and keep you needing. You can find me space blind with my accelerator to the floor. We can find our escape in the planetary great unknown. We can find that power inside that we never thought we had, as it takes us so far away. You're the thing that they've been after. Innocent, naive, and tragic. Always made a perfect target. Too distracted now to stop it. You can find me space blind with my accelerator to the floor. We can find our escape in the planetary great unknown. We can find that power inside that we never thought we had, as it takes us so far away. Oh, so far away. Oh, so far away again.
Okay.
Wow, dude, that was awesome. Oh wow, that was good.
Another kind of creative question. Do you always write the music first and then the lyrics, or just sometimes you get the lyrics in your head?
Always the music first, and it's usually like a freestyle of just like jabba, and sometimes I keep some of it, but sometimes most of the time it's like, all right, like I've played songs for almost like a year where I've never really had a set verse, but I've always kept the chorus the same.
Okay.
Like the verse was always kind of changing, and I'm like, well, I'm not selling millions of records and no one's like singing my songs to me, so nobody really notices.
Knows the difference, yeah.
And then I'll be like, I really should write some lyrics to that song tonight, and then I'll do that, and then it's kind of, but
how long does it usually take for you to come up with lyrics after you got the music?
Usually like an afternoon, maybe like a couple hours, maybe. And then maybe I'll go back and be like, change a few things around. Like, this is easier to sing because it vowels are a thing. I used to always get set on really writing lyrics that I wanted to be passionate about, and they had to be a certain way. And then I learned that like it's actually certain words are harder to sing than others going into certain things. So it's like, it's okay to like change things to words that are different to make it easier on your vocals.
Yeah. Do you ever find yourself getting on stage and playing a song and then just as you're playing it going, oh shit, I need to change this all around? Because playing it live for people maybe comes across differently than in practice, or do you pretty much work it out in rehearsal and you're good to go?
Yeah, I feel like our rehearsals are just like our shows. Okay. Like I'm like Mike, where I'm passionate about music, so like our rehearsals, like I like playing in front of people, but like I really like just playing music in general does a lot for me mentally and emotionally.
Nice.
So it's like I'm gonna still flip out and like jump on the ground and like do crazy things in practice, just like I was live. And then when you do play live, it's like you kind of just have your act down in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you kind of the same way when you're putting together a piece of music?
I sure think so, yeah. Because it just kind of, the feels take over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's just fun. And we, I think we're going to go back. So during the summer, we actually have a barn that we practice in.
Oh, that's cool.
Funny because we're the Heyfields, and there's actually sheep.
Oh, that's actually so awesome.
Oh, sweet.
And like they can go outside if they want. Like I think
you got a built-in audience.
I think they kind of it'll be weird.
Get
like,
we're
done playing a song, and they're like, exactly.
You get that one sheep that screams instead of just goes by.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, it took a little getting used to, but it's a free practice spot. We got plenty of room.
That's awesome.
It's out in Hobart, which is like
sticks. So, I grew up out in Issaquah, so Hobart.
Yeah, I mean, to live out there, so I'm looking forward. But in the winter, we have to go to the studio. But I'm looking forward to getting back to the barn.
Back to the barn. Are the acoustics different in there?
Yeah. I feel like they are. Yeah,
is it
if you get in a stuffy little room, it's
okay.
It can be hard on your sound. Especially my drum is very loud. Which I love, but
sure.
He's a hard hitter.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
What was the Boston scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were coming up.
Well, the Boston scene, not as many venues. Very cool, supportive scene. Pretty similar to this, but just with less venues. Because, I mean, Massachusetts is a small state. Boston is a kind of a small city. So I feel like the suburbs, a lot of their bars cater to cover bands. So, they might, if you know someone, they might have your original band. And, like, my town is suburbs that I'm from. And, like, of course, I could get a gig in my town because I know everyone. But I feel like this scene just has, you got Everett, you got Tacoma, you just have all the other, even Olympia, been down to Olympia, Portland. It's just a lot more going on.
Yeah. Do you guys ever do covers?
We do. Have you ever heard of K-Flay? We do a K-Flay cover called Blood in the Cut. She's a female artist. I saw her at the Showbox during, the end of the pandemic. Definitely still had and stuff. Yeah, we try to like take some fun pop girl songs and kind of rock them out.
Nice.
Nice.
Kind of our thing.
Yeah, right on.
There was a band, I think, out of Canada, and I found them on one of those tribute albums that they throw all these like no-name bands in to do like these covers of known bands, and I'm trying to remember their name, but they did a cover of "Girls, Girls, Girls" by
The Crew,
by Motley Crue, and at the beginning of the song, it's legitimately two girls going "vroom, vroom, vroom."
That's amazing.
And I was like, and they were like and they actually sped the tempo up on their version of "Girls, Girls, Girls," and it sounded fucking awesome. I'm like, the opening was kind of goofy, and I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I really wish I could remember the name of this band, but
that's fun.
It was so funny.
That's fun. Anybody got any like weird? I know we joke about Mike having his guilty pleasures, sort of Enya, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
But there's nothing wrong with that. Anybody have any funny guilty pleasure music like disco, or you just have to do the Saturday Night?
I do
Live?
like some like girl pop, like Taylor Swift.
Okay,
I listen to that stuff. We actually covered that at this benefit we did. It's called
did you do the Porn Jam?
Yeah, we did. I do Porn Jam every year. We did Taylor Swift, I Knew You Were Trouble, which was really fun. I don't know if you've heard Tegan and Sarah.
I'm aware of them, but
not really that guilty though. But I like their very early stuff is really good.
They're coming to Seattle too, I think.
I hope so.
I think they're playing the zoo, aren't they?
Yes, that's where I saw it. Yeah,
Woodland Park
that would be
Zoo.
cool.
Yeah, playing the Lens, too.
Yeah. Or I don't know. You just get funky and just like, you know what? I'm just gonna listen to Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. And
Dude, what the
Did you ever hear
I'm
his?
listening to MC Hammer. I don't care.
Did you ever hear Vanilla Ice's like Limp Bizkit kind of version of Ice Ice Baby?
No.
It's called Too Cold. Do it. Go onto YouTube and search for Vanilla Ice
I
Too
definitely
Cold.
will now.
And it's like, it's super chunky. Like it's like Limp Bizkit sounding, but it's like Too Cold instead of Ice Baby. And it's the same exact song. It's just heavier.
He's good at doing the same exact.
Yeah, they didn't change any of the lyrics. Except for maybe the chorus, instead of saying Ice Ice Baby, he says too cold.
That was
too
another
cold,
thing.
too cold.
When I got into Queen, I was like under pressure.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute, where have I heard this riff? I'm like, Vanilla Ice stole their riff.
Yeah,
I thought that was
he
you.
didn't.
He got in so much trouble for that.
Yeah, no,
he goes, "No, man, it's completely different. I changed it. It's different. It's not the same." He added a bass. One of the bass lines was doubled up. It sounded like a stutter almost. He goes, "No, mine is da 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 da." And I was like, "No, that's still the same fucking song."
That's hilarious. Yeah, I think mine would probably be like George Michael or something.
Okay.
Right? Really good singer, but just groovy pop songs.
Yeah.
I mean, I was into Madonna back in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't hate on Madonna for sure. I think.
I mean, she looks like Janice from the Muppets now, but that's.
Oh, come on.
Oh, dude, you've not seen that meme? Oh my God, it's funny.
No. Yeah, I don't know anything that she's done probably in the last 10 years or something.
I don't know if anything in the last
was pretty cool
almost
stuff.
15 years. I think the last time I heard it was
She's
like
definitely iconic. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Around.
as far as like guilty pleasures, as far as
We know
music
what
goes,
yours is, Todd, and it's Garth Brooks.
No, that's not a guilty pleasure. That is torture. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't really have any guilty pleasures per se. But I did recently find out that there is a band called the DGs.
Oh yes, that's Foo Fighters.
Yeah, it's Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, and they did an entire album of Bee Gees covers.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
And I'm so pissed because that came out on Record Store Day, and people bought it up before anybody else could get it, and now it's selling for like $500 on.
Come on, man.
It's
like,
on,
come on.
It's on Spotify, dude.
I know. It's fun.
like the
Tactile, people. Tactile.
Yeah,
I do kind of miss that. Like that's why I'm glad I grew up in the cassette era.
Yeah.
You can always burn a disc. If you have the MP3s, you can always burn a CD.
No, it's not this.
It's not this.
And if you have a printer at home, you can print up the liner notes.
I don't know if we can. That sounds like copyright troubles there.
Well, if you own the album, you can do that.
It doesn't smell the same. Ray, a few episodes ago, we talked about an album that we maybe had multiple media. Like we bought the tape when it came out,
album
then
you've
bought
never
the
been
CD.
without,
album you've never been without? Is there an album that you've had multiple iterations of that you just can't get enough of?
Yes, that would probably be. I did that with the first Foo Fighters, actually.
Okay.
And then definitely some Nirvana. Like I always have to have like In Utero. I always have to have that album. Definitely like some Doors. I think I've had the set, the CD. You know, you got to have some Jim Morrison in your collection.
Yeah. I had all the vinyl, and then I got all the CDs, and on and on and on. But yeah, for sure. Anybody have any worst music trends that they just, Todd, we know it's country music, that you just can't stand? Is like anybody
grunge,
just, like want to blow up? Seriously?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Grunge. I actually dislike grunge more than country.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like
okay, what are the bands that
probably
you consider grunge?
Yeah.
Oh.
What are the bands you consider grunge?
Nirvana. Sorry.
Fine.
Yeah, I actually I've gotten to the point where I can listen to them and not be like, oh God, turn this shit off. I can listen to it now and not be annoyed by it, but it used to just absolutely infuriate me when it would come on, because it would come on all the time. Every hour there's at least 2 albums or 2 songs off of.
Blame the bands for that. That's the machine that does that, right?
And I'm not really blaming the bands. It's because of there's so much airplay for them, and I get that this people have the same feeling about the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and stuff, and it's just I'm of that generation where I just didn't really care for it, because the stuff that I was into got bumped from all the popular stations.
Grungy killed the hair metal star. Grungy killed.
It wasn't just hair metal, dude. It was every bit of metal. Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer stopped getting airplay.
Yeah.
So
my older brother was one.
Yeah,
and
I would blame the machine. Right?
Yeah, and I didn't.
Just like now, they're not playing.
I didn't blame Nirvana for everybody just obsessing over them and not shutting up about it. But it's the radio stations, it's the promoters. And,
it's that whole machine.
And just
I can honestly. Go ahead.
There's no art that they will not attempt to commodify.
Yeah,
and squeeze every last bit of originality and juice out, right?
It's kind of a job,
and I heard this quote the other day, and I love it. So I think I'm going to get the tattoo. Is that capitalism is great for the things we want, but terrible for the things we need, right? And I put art in the need step, right? Along with, like, say, medical care and firefighters, and food and housing. But you know what I'm saying? It's like because they'll just they'll make it into something that it's not ever had been supposed to. Just not supposed to be that way. So,
and I would say, out of all the grunge bands, Nirvana is probably, as one of the top grunge bands, is probably my least favorite. I like them, but like Nevermind, I don't know that I ever need to hear that album again. I've just so much.
Which songs are on that one again?
It's the first.
That's why I can listen to
Bleach, though.
In Utero.
Which is the one that had Smells Like Teen Spirit?
That's
yes. That's
Nevermind.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the only version of that song that I will listen to and not turn it off is Weird Al's version. I love that song.
Oh yeah, I love Weird Al. What about the original grunge bands? So there's grunge bands that didn't get big from out there, like grunge. And like Mudhoney, I didn't really heard of
Mudhoney. Is going to be on my top of the
so
heat.
it's funny, they're not that popular.
But I would argue that Mudhoney's a blues band anyway.
A lot of bands that came out of Seattle at that time weren't even grunge, but they were labeled as grunge because they came from Seattle. Like Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains and Soundgarden were not grunge. They were Seattle metal.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say rocker dudes. Because metal to me is a little different than just long hair music, right?
Yeah.
It's like, from Rail or fucking War Babies or you get Alice in Chains.
Seattle metal was, Rail counts as Seattle metal. I mean, they were like hair metal, but they were like the Seattle version of that.
For me, you're a rocker because you're loud and you're non-distorted and stuff like that. And once you start talking about, the devil and extracurricular spiritual activities, that's metal.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're just a rocker dude talking talking about babes and shit. That's rock and roll.
I don't necessarily equate metal to just devil music.
Devil music?
I mean, if I was going to label
just not trying hard enough.
That's the funnest part of it.
Seriously, if I was going to label any genre of music as devil music, it'd be Radio Disney. All the pop shit that comes out of Radio Disney, Justin Bieber is definitely devil's music because little kids love that shit, and he's all out there like pissing on fucking mop buckets and leaving his monkey hanging out at the
it's so hard to sort of start pointing fingers at bands and saying you fit into this category. Like Motley Crue, like you said, they don't have any mysticism and stuff, but they've got the pentagram and
it was all for show
and
they're rocker
and the
dudes,
spikes, but they're rocker dudes. Right? AC/DC is not heavy metal to me. They're hard rock.
They're hard rock. They're not quite.
But Dio, that's friggin' heavy metal.
Yeah,
Dio is definitely metal.
Goose set to loud amps.
Dio is Dungeons and Dragons set to music. I mean, he's talking about dragons and wizards and warlocks and
I mean, music trend. I mean, what do you mean? Like, is it genre?
Like a genre or like
I can't stand auto-tune.
Where it's obvious that they're not really singing; it's being auto-tuned by a computer.
Yeah, like they just, I don't know, just the sound volume.
It is. It's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Where it's just while they're trying to sing.
Yeah. Or just like, I'm just kind of aggravated by like ticket sales lately too.
That's absolutely friggin' ridiculous.
$800 for a fucking ticket. No,
there should be
shut up.
There should be
cap it somewhere. And
whatever happened to the scalping laws of King County, man? You couldn't scalp.
Oh no, that was just for dudes trying to be entrepreneurs,
right? Yeah,
but no, that's exactly what's happening though. They're now behind a website now.
Well, we allowed for the consolidation of ticket sales, right? I think one company, because Ticketmaster got bought by somebody even bigger. It's like
Live Nation.
Live Nation. I mean, you're kidding me. It's like, why do we allow for that to happen? Therein lies the problem, right?
My roommate's wife was trying to buy tickets at Numos for a band I'd never even heard of before, and tickets sold out in 5 minutes, and then are on reseller sites for like $400 for fucking Numos.
Yeah, but that place is tiny too. What do you get?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not paying $400 for a ticket to for general audience. Fuck you. No.
Yeah.
I saw Cedric Burnside there, though. I know that guy in the North Mississippi All-Star.
Dude, I haven't been to a live show in forever, so if I was to like try to get tickets to see something at El Corazon and it end up being like $300 or $400, I'm not going to a concert ever again.
I don't know how that would be possible, of course. I mean, you might have to get a tetanus shot after the show or something,
No, I'm okay with that. I've had my tetanus shot.
I worked there when our staff shirt said staff, S-T-A-P-H.
Really? That's awesome. That's awesome.
Didn't that get separated into two bars now?
Funhouse closed. Funhouse was by Seattle Center.
Yeah, I remember that.
Great spot too, kind of by Oz and
yeah. That was like a little punk.
It was a cool spot, and they had a really good basketball hoop in the back.
Yeah, I remember that place. They play a lot of punk music there.
So now it's 2 stages, and 2 bars. They do a great job.
I think the last time I was at El Corazon was in the early 2000s, and it was to see Nevermore. I got to meet World Dane and all those guys, Jeff Loomis. And, it was so fucking cool. I love that venue mostly because if you hang out after the show, you will meet the band because they will have to carry their gear up from the front door to their bus.
Yeah, there's always the buses out front.
Yeah, and I met Apocalyptica there too. They're also a great band. If you've never heard of them, they're the 4 cellos that did like a whole album of covers of Metallica.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
great band.
What was that club down on 2nd and Stewart? My brother played there one time, and I helped him load in his gear, and we had to do it through the front window. Because you couldn't, So when the band, when you were done, you opened up the front window and the band's handing out amps and drum kits.
Is that down in the Pioneer Square?
No, north downtown.
Oh, okay.
2nd and Stewart. It's not there any longer.
Over by Lake Union. Okay.
Not quite that far north, but it's kind of more by Westlake.
Okay.
The mall there.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know of any place up there.
The name of it. I'll have to ask. He played there a few times, and it was just crazy.
You guys have tickets to any shows that are coming up or anything?
I don't know.
I'm poor usually, and I haven't really. I'm not acquainted with whatever bands are local anymore, so I don't know what bands to go see, and my car doesn't run great, so I don't like driving beyond Renton.
I get get that. My car is a death trap.
I think if anything, I would probably take my car to the park and ride and take a bus in. But
Park and ride's a nice. That's a nice.
But
yeah,
I'm going to see Gary Newman.
Oh, dude, that'd be so awesome.
I don't know. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. And
Cars.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, and he's
he
got
was
a
just
pretty
ahead of the
impressive
curve,
catalog.
That guy, no, he was way ahead.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, he's still around. Okay. Yeah.
He liked Kraftwerk, but more like sonically accessible.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he had songs. Kraftwerk was kind of.
I always get him confused with the singer from Oingo Boingo.
Oh, Danny Elfman?
Elfman, yeah.
Huh. Elfman's all boingy, boingy, boingy. I don't know
Dude,
if...
and the thing is when you tell somebody
That guy produces.
when you tell someone that the guy who created the music for The Simpsons and Batman and all these other great Tim Burton movies is also the same guy who did Weird Science, they're like, what? Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
You know?
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and he's got that very signature, like a bouncing rubber ball, right? It's he's great.
I recently heard him on a podcast, and he is the oddest dude ever, but he's so cool, you know.
Well, boys, we've sort of reached our 90-minute goal of talking and music. We appreciate Mr. Ray Smalley for being here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Great music.
Thank you.
That's
one
May
more time,
6th.
Ray. May 6th at
the Valley.
The Valley.
Tacoma.
Now I want to hear the amplified versions of those songs.
Yeah, you should go on. You look us up on YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Oh yeah,
YouTube or the Facebook.
Yes,
right?
Send us the links. We'll post them on our Facebook group.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, and I think Ray's going to stick around to do our top 5 in our bonus area. I know, he's for punishment. Absolutely. Yeah. So we do a top 5 every week, but it's in our members only section, which you actually have to pay to get into.
Yeah, it's not that expensive, folks.
It costs you a cup of coffee, is how we like to say it.
Oh, yeah.
But go there.
It's our drip.
It's our drip. Matcha green tea.
You got to get our drip, man.
Just coffee.
I feel exclusive, right?
Yeah, we're exclusive. And also, we've got some great blogs in there. Todd's got some derp videos.
Oh, my puppet,
page, his puppet derp. And who knows what else you'll find behind the wall.
We've done some shorts on YouTube as well. The short form videos.
Yes,
those are fun.
Are they shorts for members only, or can anybody watch those?
No, there's on YouTube. Anybody can watch those.
Yeah, there's no paywall on YouTube.
No, YouTube. Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for us. Anybody got anything positive they want to end on?
Oh, geez. Take the stairs at the new convention center.
Positively.
Get a mobility scooter.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Ray again for being here. We are Our Town Podcast from Renton, Washington, and we appreciate you. Have a good night.
There we go.